Ambassador Elena Vasquez walked through the long hallway of Concordia Prime. Her footsteps echoed in the empty corridor. The space station was huge. It had been the center of galactic politics for over 300 years. Today, something felt different. The alien guards looked at her with cold eyes. They used to nod and smile when she passed by. Elena reached the main council chamber. The doors were made of shining metal that reflected the stars outside. She took a deep breath and walked inside. The room was circular with seats arranged in levels going up to the ceiling. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in. Their assigned places. The humans had only one seat. Elena was alone. She looked around the room. There was Chancellor Vex of the Zephyrian Empire. His blue skin looked darker than usual under the bright lights. His forearms were folded across his chest. Next to him sat the crystal being that spoke for the Keth Collective. Its body glowed with soft purple light. The light pulsed faster when it was excited or angry. Right now it was pulsing very fast. On the other side sat Queen Mother Zara of the Vorthan. She looked like a giant insect with golden wings. Her compound eyes reflected the light from every direction. Around her stood 6 worker Vorthan. They never spoke. They just followed her orders through their mental connection. Elena sat down in the human seat. It was placed lower than all the others. This was done on purpose. Humans were supposed to be junior members of the council. They had joined the galactic community only 200 years ago. Most alien races had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Chancellor Vex stood up. His voice was deep and loud. This emergency session will now begin. We are here to discuss the human problem. Elena felt her heart beat faster. Problem? What problem? The crystal being spoke next. Its voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. The problem is you, humans. You have become too dangerous. Dangerous? Elena stood up. We have fought beside you in 50 wars. We saved the Keth homeworld from the Dark Star pirates. We helped the Vorthan colonies when the plague struck. How are we dangerous? Queen Mother Zara made a clicking sound with her mandibles. That is exactly the problem. You fight too well. You adapt too quickly. You learn our secrets and use them against us. Chancellor Vex pulled out a data tablet. In the last war against the Ravagers, human soldiers learned to use Zephyrian plasma. Weapons in 3 days. It took our people 3 years to master those weapons. Your Colonel Martinez figured out how to crack Keth defense shields in a single battle. Your scientists somehow learned to speak with Vorthan workers without using the Queen Mother as a translator. Elena felt confused. Those things helped us win the war. We fought together as allies. Allies who know too much? The crystal being sighed. Its purple light grew brighter. You have seen inside our ships. You know our military codes. You understand our weaknesses. What happens when you decide we are your enemies instead of your friends? The room grew quiet. Elena looked around. At faces that had once been friendly. Now they all looked afraid. Afraid of her. Afraid of all humans. Chancellor Vex activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked human colonies and military bases. There were hundreds of them spread across dozens of star systems. Look at this, he said. 200 years ago, humans lived on one small planet. Now you have spread everywhere. Your people are on our worlds. Your soldiers know our tactics. Your merchants understand our trade routes. Your scientists have learned our technologies. Elena studied the map. She had never seen it displayed like this before. The red dots did look like an infection spreading through the galaxy, but that was not how she saw it. Each dot was a human. Family trying to make a new life among the stars. We came to the galaxy in peace, she said. We joined your council. We followed your laws. We fought your enemies. Yes, Queen Mother Zara clicked. You fought very well. Too well. Do you know what we call human soldiers behind your backs? Elena shook her head. We call them death dealers. Your people find new ways to kill in every battle. You take our weapons and make them more deadly. You turn our own tactics against our enemies. You fight like you were born for war. The crystal being pulsed faster. We have studied your history. Your planet had countless wars before you reached the stars. You have weapons designed to destroy whole continents. You have chemicals that can kill millions. You have learned to split atoms and use them as bombs? Elena felt anger rising in her chest. That was our past. We left those weapons behind when we joined you. We destroyed our nuclear arsenal. We banned chemical weapons. Did you? Chancellor Vex smiled, but it was not a kind smile. Or did you just hide them? Our spies tell us that humans still study those old weapons. They say you keep the knowledge locked away in secret files. That knowledge is kept only for historical research, Elena said quickly. But even as she said it, she wondered if it was true. There were rumors about secret human military projects. Projects that civilian ambassadors like her were not told about. Chancellor Vex pressed a button on his tablet. The holographic display changed. Now it showed video footage from recent battles. Elena watched human soldiers fighting alongside alien troops. But now she saw it through alien eyes. She saw how quickly humans learned to use unfamiliar weapons. She saw how they worked together without talking, like they could read each other's minds. She saw them adapt to new situations faster than their alien allies. In one clip, a human sergeant took apart a damaged Keth crystal weapon. Within minutes, he had fixed it and improved its power output. His alien squad mates stared in amazement. In another clip, human medics were treating wounded Vorthan workers. They had somehow learned to understand the workers' simple sign language. The Queen Mother in that battle looked shocked that outsiders could communicate with her children. You see? The crystal being said. Humans learn too fast. They adapt too quickly. They are like a virus that copies everything it touches. Elena watched the clips with growing dread. She had always been proud of human adaptability. Now she saw how it looked to other species. It looked like humans were stealing secrets and preparing for war. Chancellor Vex turned off the display. The Council has made a decision. The Terran containment protocol will begin immediately. What does that mean? Elena asked, though she feared the answer. Queen Mother Zara stood up. Her golden wings spread wide. It means humans are no longer welcome as equals in this galaxy. Your military units will be disbanded, your weapons will be confiscated. Your colonies will accept alien oversight. You will return to your home system. And stay there. Elena felt the world spinning around her. You cannot do this. We have treaties. We have rights as council members. The crystal being's light turned from purple to angry red. Those treaties are void. As of this moment, humans are classified as a galactic security threat. Your seat on this council is revoked. Your diplomatic immunity is cancelled. Security guards began moving toward Elena. They were not human guards. They were tall Zephyrian soldiers with plasma rifles. Chancellor Vex looked almost sad. We are sorry, Elena. Many of us liked working with humans. But we cannot risk the safety of the galaxy. Your people are too dangerous to remain free. Elena backed toward the chamber doors. This is madness. We were your allies, we bled for you, we died for you. And that is exactly why you must be stopped, Queen Mother Zara clicked. Allies who can become enemies are the most dangerous enemies of all. The chamber doors slammed shut behind Elena. She was trapped in a room full of beings who had once called her friend. Now they looked at her like she was a monster. The vote was swift and unanimous. Every alien species agreed. Humanity was too dangerous to remain free in the galaxy. Elena realized with growing horror that everything was about to change. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could really do when pushed into a corner, and it was going to be terrible. Colonel Marcus Chen stood on the observation deck of New Perth mining station. He watched the stars through the thick glass windows. The view had always calmed him before. Now it filled him with dread. 3 large ships hung in space near the station. They were Vorthan warships with golden hulls that gleamed in the starlight. Marcus had been a soldier for 30 years. He fought in the Keth Wars and the Ravager conflicts. After his service ended, he came to New Perth to live in peace. Many other retired soldiers had done the same. The mining station was home to 5,000 humans. Most of them were former military and their families. A young woman ran up to Marcus. Her name was Lisa Park. She worked in the communications center. Her face was pale with fear. "Colonel, they are broadcasting a message," she said. "You need to hear this." Marcus followed her to the communications room. The walls were covered with screens and control panels. A dozen technicians sat at their stations. All of them looked worried. Lisa pressed a button. A voice filled the room. It spoke in perfect human English, but the accent was wrong. It sounded like an insect trying to speak. "Attention human colonists of New Perth. This is Queen Mother. Vasa of the Vorthen Fleet, you have 1 hour to surrender all weapons and prepare for inspection. Any resistance will be met with force. This is your only warning," the message repeated 3 times. Then the channel went silent. Marcus stared at the screens. "How long have they been out there?" "They arrived 2 hours ago," Lisa said. "They came out of hyperspace without warning. They did not answer our greeting calls." Marcus felt his old military training take over. He began thinking like a soldier again. "What weapons do we have?" "The station has defensive lasers," said Tom Brady, the security chief. "But they are meant to destroy asteroids, not warships. We have about 200 personal weapons." "Mostly hunting rifles and mining tools," Marcus nodded. "That will not be enough against 3 warships." Lisa checked her instruments. "Colonel, I am getting reports from other colonies too. The same thing is happening everywhere. Alien fleets are demanding surrender." Marcus felt a cold fear in his stomach. This was not just happening to New Perth. This was happening to humans. Across the galaxy. Another technician spoke up. "Sir, I am picking up an encrypted message. It is on the old military channels." Marcus moved to the technician's station. The man played a recording. Elena Vasquez's voice came through the speakers. She sounded tired and scared. "This is Ambassador Vasquez to all human military personnel. The Galactic Council has declared humans a security threat. They have voted to implement something called the Terran Containment Protocol. Alien fleets are moving against human colonies everywhere. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. All surviving humans should converge on the Ragnarok system. Elena out." The room went completely quiet. Marcus had served under Elena's father in the Keth Wars. He trusted the Vasquez family with his life. "Tom," Brady broke the silence. "Ragnarok system? That place has been abandoned for 50 years. "That is probably why she chose it," Marcus said. "Hidden and forgotten." The communications board lit up with incoming signals. Lisa switched between different channels. Human voices filled the room. They were calls for help from colonies under attack. "This is Kepler Station. We are under bombardment. The Zephyrians are not accepting surrender. They are firing on civilian areas. New Geneva is gone. The Keth crystal ships use some kind of disruption weapon. The whole colony just stopped working. People are not responding. Help us, please, someone help us. The Vorthen are landing troops. On Greenfield, they are rounding up children." Marcus listened to the voices with growing anger. These were not military targets. These were families, children, people who had never hurt anyone. Lisa turned to him with tears in her eyes. "What do we do, Colonel?" Marcus looked around the room. These people were counting on him to save them, but he was just one old soldier on a mining station. "First, we evacuate everyone we can," he said. "Load the cargo ships with supplies and people. Send them toward the outer rim. What about the Vorthen?" Tom asked. Marcus smiled. That was not a happy smile. "Let me worry about them." The next hour passed quickly. Cargo ships loaded with families launched from New Perth's docking bays. The Vorthen warships did not stop them. They seemed focused. Only on the station itself. Marcus stayed behind with 50 volunteers. Most of them were old soldiers like himself. They armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find. The Vorthen ships moved closer. Marcus could see them clearly now. Through the windows. They were beautiful ships with smooth curves and golden armor. He had always admired Vorthen design. "Now those same ships look like deadly predators," Lisa spoke from her station. "They are requesting permission to dock." Granted, Marcus said. Let them come. Tom stared at him. Colonel, what are you planning? Marcus checked his rifle. It was an old military weapon from his service days. He had kept it as a reminder of his fighting years. Now it might save lives again. I am planning to show them what happens when you threaten human families, he said. The Vorthan boarding shuttle attached to New Perth's main docking bay. 20 Vorthan soldiers marched into the station. They moved in perfect formation. Their golden armor gleamed under the station lights. The lead Vorthan spoke through a translator device. I am Commander Rix. You will surrender all weapons and submit to inspection. Marcus stepped forward. He held his rifle casually, not pointing it at anyone. I am Colonel Chun. This is a civilian mining station. We have done nothing wrong. Commander. Rix's compound eyes reflected the light like mirrors. You are human. That is crime enough. The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. These aliens had been their allies for decades. Human soldiers had died protecting Vorthan colonies. Now they called being human a crime. We helped your people during the plague outbreak on Vorthan 7, Marcus said. Human doctors saved thousands of your children. That was before we understood. The threat, Commander Rix replied. Now we know better. Marcus felt something change inside him. A coldness spread through his chest. It was the same feeling he had experienced in the worst battles of the war. The feeling when mercy became a luxury he could not afford. Tom, he said quietly, execute Protocol 7. Tom nodded and pressed a button on his control panel. Emergency lights began flashing throughout the station. It was a signal they had practiced many times during asteroid storms. The Vorthan soldiers looked confused. They did not understand what the signal meant. Marcus smiled again. This time it was the smile of a predator. Protocol 7 means that this station's reactor is about to overload. You have exactly 10 minutes to get your ships away from here. Commander Rix stepped back. You are bluffing. Humans would not destroy themselves. You obviously do not know humans very well, Marcus said. We have a saying. If you want to take something from us, you better be ready to pay the price. The Vorthan soldiers looked at each other nervously. Their perfect formation began to waver. Marcus continued talking in a calm voice. Of course, the reactor overload can be stopped. But only if you and your ships leave the system immediately. Commander Rix was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke into his communicator in the Vorthan language. My ships will withdraw, he said finally, but this is not over. More fleets are coming. Let them come, Marcus said. We will be ready. The Vorthan soldiers retreated to their shuttle. Within minutes, the 3 warships were moving away from New Perth. Tom turned off the emergency lights. Colonel, we do not actually have a reactor. Overload system, Marcus nodded. I know. But they did not know that. Lisa laughed despite her fear. You bluffed them into leaving. For now, Marcus said. But Commander Rix was right. More ships will come. We need to get everyone out of here. Over the next few hours, the remaining cargo ships launched from New Perth. They carried the last of the colonists toward the outer rim. Marcus stayed until the very end, making sure everyone was safe. As his ship pulled away from the station, Marcus looked back at New Perth. It had been his home for 5 years. Now it was just empty metal floating in space. Lisa sat beside him, in the ship's co-pilot seat. Where do we go now? Marcus thought about Elena's message. The Ragnarok system was far away and dangerous to reach, but it was the only safe place left for humans in the galaxy. We go find the others, he said, and then we figure out how to fight back. The ship turned toward the darkness between stars. Behind them, New Perth grew smaller until it disappeared. Ahead lay uncertainty and danger, but Marcus felt something he had not felt in years. He felt like a soldier again. And soldiers knew how to fight. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you cornered the human race. Admiral Vyzes sat in his command chair aboard the Zephyrian flagship. Eternal glory, his 4 arms moved across the control panels as he reviewed the battle reports. 3 months had passed since the Terran containment protocol began. The reports all said the same thing. Human resistance was finished. Admiral, said his communications officer. "The final colony sweep is complete. We have eliminated all known human settlements in this sector." Vyzes nodded with satisfaction. His blue skin gleamed under the bridge lights. "Excellent! How many human ships escaped?" "Intelligence estimates fewer than 50 vessels scattered across the outer rim. They pose no significant threat." Vyzes activated the holographic display in the center of the bridge. It showed a map of the galaxy with red marks where human colonies used to be. Most of the marks were now gray, meaning destroyed or captured. "The humans fought bravely," Vyzes said to his crew. "But they were outnumbered and outgunned. Their resistance was doomed from the start." On the other side of the galaxy, Commander Jake Torres crouched in the maintenance tunnel of an abandoned space station. The tunnel was dark and cold. Drops of condensation fell from the metal ceiling. Jake had been hiding here for 6 hours. Waiting for the right moment. Jake was 35 years old. He had been a Marine sergeant before the purge began. Now he led a group of 20 human survivors. They called themselves the Ghost Squad. They had no ships, no bases, and no supplies except what they could steal. Jake checked his watch. The Keth supply convoy would pass through this system in 10 minutes. The convoy carried food and medical supplies for alien colonies. Jake and his team needed those supplies to survive. Sarah Kim crawled up beside him in the tunnel. She had been a research scientist before the war. Now she was Jake's demolitions expert. She carried a bag full of improvised explosives made from mining equipment. "The charges are set," she whispered. "When the convoy stops to investigate this station, we blow the tunnel. It will look like an accident." Jake nodded. Sarah was brilliant. She could turn anything into a weapon. Last week she had figured out how to disrupt Keth crystal communication systems using parts from a broken coffee machine. "Remember," Jake said to his team through their comm system, "we take only what we need. No unnecessary killing. We are not murderers." But even as he said it, Jake wondered if that was still true. 3 months of running and hiding had changed all of them. They did things now that would have horrified them before the war. The Keth convoy appeared on their sensors. 3 crystal ships moving in formation. They were beautiful vessels that looked like floating gemstones. Jake had once admired Keth technology. Now he only saw targets. The lead ship detected the abandoned station and moved closer to investigate. This was exactly what Jake had hoped for. Sarah triggered the explosives. The tunnel collapsed with a rumble that shook the entire station. 2. The Keth ships, it looked like a structural failure in an old, abandoned facility. The Keth commander decided to dock and check for survivors. This was their mistake. The Keth were a peaceful people. They always tried to help others in distress. Jake's team moved through the station's corridors like shadows. They had practiced this many times. Everyone knew their job. The Keth boarding party entered the station carefully. They carried scanning equipment and medical supplies. They were trying to help what they thought were accident victims. Jake felt a moment of guilt. These aliens were good people trying to do the right thing. But his team needed those supplies to survive. The humans struck quickly and silently. They used stun weapons taken from captured alien equipment. The Keth fell unconscious before they could send a warning to their ships. Sarah's team disabled the convoy's engines while Jake's group loaded supplies onto stolen shuttles. The entire operation took less than 20 minutes. As they prepared to leave, Jake looked at the unconscious Keth officers. Their crystal bodies pulsed with soft light even while they slept. They would wake up in a few hours with no memory of what had hit them. "Sir," said Maria Santos, Jake's communications expert, "I am picking up chatter from the Keth ships. They are reporting another ghost attack in the Vega system." Jake smiled grimly. Other human teams were active across the galaxy. They were all using similar tactics. Hit fast, disappear quickly, leave no trace. The Ghost Squad's shuttles slipped away into the asteroid field before the Keth could respond. They had enough supplies to last another month. Yuki Tanaka floated in her makeshift laboratory aboard the refugee ship Hope's Dream. The ship was a converted cargo hauler carrying 300 human survivors. They were heading toward the Ragnarok system, but the journey was taking months. Yuk, I had been a weapons researcher before the war. She specialized in alien technology. Now she was trying to understand why humans were so good at adapting alien equipment. Around her floated dozens of captured alien devices. Zephyrian plasma rifles, Keth crystal computers, Vorthan neural interfaces. Yuki had been studying them. All. Captain Robert Hayes floated over to her workstation. He was a merchant marine who had become the ship's commander when the real captain was killed in the evacuation. "Doctor, the other ships are reporting the same thing," he said. "Human. Teams across the galaxy are having success against alien forces. How is this possible?" Yuki picked up a Zephyrian weapon and turned it over in her hands. "I think I'm beginning to understand. Look at this plasma rifle. The Zephyrians designed it for their four-armed physiology, but humans learned to use it in ways the Zephyrians never imagined." She activated the weapon and adjusted its settings. The aliens designed their technology for their own species. They never thought about how other races might use it. But humans think differently. Captain Hayes looked confused. "What do you mean?" Yuki smiled sadly. "Humans are predators, Captain. We evolved as hunters on a dangerous world. When we see a tool, we automatically think about how it could be used as a weapon. When we see a system, we look for weaknesses we can exploit." She gestured to the floating devices around her. "The aliens created these technologies for specific purposes. But humans see unlimited possibilities. We take their tools and make them do things the creators never intended." Captain Hayes was quiet for a moment. "That sounds like what the aliens were afraid of." "Exactly," Yuki said. "They were right to be afraid. But they made a critical mistake." "What mistake?" Yuki's expression grew dark. They turned that ability against them. "Before the war, humans used our adaptability to help alien civilizations. We fought their enemies and protected their colonies. But now, she did not finish the sentence. Captain Hayes understood. On the bridge of the Eternal Glory, Admiral Theises received another disturbing report. A Vorthan supply depot had been raided. The attackers had vanished without a trace, leaving only empty storage bays and unconscious guards. "Admiral," said his intelligence officer, "this is the 10th such attack this month. The humans are becoming more organized." Theises studied the tactical display. Red icons marked the locations of human attacks. They were scattered across dozens of star systems with no apparent pattern. "How many humans could still be operating?" he asked. "Our estimates say no more than 10,000 survivors in small groups. But they are having an impact far beyond their numbers." Theises felt a chill in his blue blood. 10,000 humans were affecting the operations of 3 galactic civilizations. How was this possible? His communications officer spoke up. "Sir, we are receiving reports of equipment failures across the fleet. Navigation systems are malfunctioning. Weapon targeting is unreliable. Equipment failures?" Theises demanded. "Our technology is the most advanced in the galaxy." "Yes, sir, but the failures seem to be happening only on ships that have encountered human forces. It is as if the humans learned something that lets them disrupt our systems remotely." Theises felt fear creeping into his mind. The humans were supposed to be defeated. They were supposed to be hiding in terror at the edge of the galaxy. Instead, they were striking back with increasing boldness. "Double the security on all supply convoys," he ordered, "and send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them the human threat has not been eliminated." Meanwhile, in the darkness between stars, human survivors gathered their strength. They learned new ways to fight. They adapted captured technology. They planned their revenge. The aliens had wanted to see what humans were truly capable of when pushed to the edge. Now they were finding out, and they were starting to realize. They had made a terrible mistake. The hunters had become the hunted. But the humans were very good at being hunters. Jake Torres drifted through space in his stolen shuttle, watching a Keth patrol ship pass below him. The ship's crew had no idea he was there. To their sensors, his shuttle looked like just another piece of space debris. He smiled in the darkness. The aliens thought they had won the war. They thought humans were finished. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Captain Zex of the Keth crystal ship Harmony floated in his command chamber. His crystal body pulsed with nervous yellow light. For the past week, his ship had been patrolling the empty space between star systems. They were hunting for human raiders, but they found nothing except silence and darkness. "Captain," said his sensor officer, "I am detecting a distress signal from the cargo vessel Crystal Song. They report engine failure in Sector 7. Zex's light pulsed faster. 3. Keth ships had gone missing in the past month. Each time they had been responding to distress calls. Each time they had simply vanished without sending any final messages. "Are you certain the signal is genuine?" Zex asked. "The codes are correct, sir. Crystal Song is carrying medical supplies to the Andorian colonies. If their engines fail, those people will die." Zex faced an impossible choice. If he ignored the distress call, innocent Keth might die. If he responded, his ship might disappear like the others. He looked around his bridge at the 12 crystal beings under his command. They all pulsed with the same nervous yellow light. "Set course for Sector 7, he decided. "But keep all weapons ready and shields at maximum." The Harmony moved through hyperspace toward the distress signal. Zex tried to calm his fears, but his crystal body continued pulsing with anxious energy. On the other side of the galaxy, General Rebecca Stone stood in the command center of her hidden base. The base was built inside a hollow asteroid drifting between two dead star systems. No alien civilization had ever claimed this empty region of space. It was the perfect hiding place. Rebecca had commanded human forces in the Ravager Wars. She was the best tactical mind in the human military. When the purge began, she had vanished along with her entire staff. The aliens assumed she was dead. They were wrong. The command center was filled with holographic displays showing the positions of alien fleets across the galaxy, red dots marked human strike teams. Blue lines showed supply routes and patrol patterns. Rebecca studied the information like a chess master planning her next move. "General," said Lieutenant Anderson, her intelligence officer, "we have confirmation. The Keth ship Harmony is responding to our fake distress signal." Rebecca nodded. "The fake distress call was part of Operation Ghost Hunt. Human teams would BROADCAST emergency signals using captured alien communication codes. When enemy ships responded, the humans would capture them and learn their secrets." "How many ships have we taken this month?" Rebecca asked. 17, Anderson replied. "We now have complete technical data on Keth, Zephyrian, and Vorthan military systems." Rebecca smiled grimly. The aliens thought they were hunting scattered human survivors. They did not realize the humans were hunting them back. Captain Zex's ship dropped out of hyperspace near the distress signal. He expected to see the Crystal Song drifting helplessly in space. Instead, he found nothing but empty darkness. "Captain," his sensor officer said with confusion, "the signal is coming from that small asteroid, but there is no ship." Zex felt his crystal body pulse with fear. This was exactly how the other ships had vanished. They had followed distress signals to empty locations. "All stop," he ordered. "Prepare to retreat." But it was too late. The asteroid suddenly split open like a flower. Inside was a human ship unlike anything Zex had ever seen. It was built from pieces of captured alien vessels welded together in impossible ways. Keth crystal arrays powered Zephyrian plasma cannons. Vorthan control systems guided missiles. Designed by human engineers, the hybrid ship fired a weapon that Zex did not recognize. It hit the Harmony's shields and passed right through them without causing any damage. Zex felt relief for a moment. Then his ship's systems began shutting down one by one. "Captain," his engineer reported in panic, "the weapon is disrupting our quantum matrix. All systems are failing." Zex watched helplessly as his beautiful crystal ship went dark around him. The humans had somehow learned to turn Keth technology against itself. Human boarding pods attached to the Harmony's hull. Soldiers in makeshift armor poured onto the bridge. Their leader was a woman with cold eyes and scars on her face. "I am Commander Torres," she said through a translation device. Your ship and crew are now prisoners of the Human Liberation Force. Zex's crystal body pulsed with defeat. What do you want from us? Information, Torres replied. And then we will let you go. But first, you're going to help us capture more ships. Rebecca Stone received the report of the Harmony's capture while reviewing casualty reports from other operations. The humans were winning individual battles, but they were paying a heavy price. General, said Dr. Martinez, the base medical officer, we have lost 30% of our strike teams in the past month. The aliens are adapting to our tactics. Rebecca studied the holographic display. The aliens were indeed learning. They sent larger patrol groups now. They varied their routes randomly. They used different communication codes every day. Then we need to adapt faster than they do, she said. What is the status of Project Nightmare? Dr. Martinez looked uncomfortable. The psychological warfare program is ready, but the ethics committee has concerns. Rebecca's expression hardened. Ethics committee? Doctor, they are trying to wipe out our entire species. Ethics are a luxury we cannot afford. Project Nightmare was Rebecca's most secret operation. Human scientists had been studying alien psychology and biology. They had learned how to create targeted fears in each species. The plan was to make alien crews so terrified that they would refuse to fight. Implement Project Nightmare immediately, Rebecca ordered. Target the most isolated alien patrol ships. The first test of Project Nightmare happened 3 days later. A lone Vorthan patrol ship was investigating reports of human activity near a gas giant. The ship's name was Golden Wing, and it carried a crew of 20 Vorthan warriors. The human strike team did not attack the ship directly. Instead, they used captured Vorthan technology to broadcast specific sound frequencies into the ship's communication system. The sounds were designed to trigger panic in the Vorthan nervous system. Commander Hive of the Golden Wing felt the fear start as a small vibration in his wings. Within minutes, it had spread through his entire crew. The warrior Vorthan, who had faced death without fear for thousands of years, found themselves paralyzed with terror. Commander, his pilot reported in a shaking voice. Something is wrong. The walls feel like they are closing in. The stars look like eyes watching us. Hive looked around his bridge. His crew was huddled together, their golden armor trembling. Even through his own fear, he realized this was not natural. Something was affecting their minds. It is a human weapon, he said with growing horror. They have learned to attack our thoughts. The fear grew stronger. Vorthan crew members began reporting impossible things. They saw human faces in the ship's hull. They heard whispers in the engine noise. They felt invisible hands touching them in the darkness. Within an hour, the Golden Wing's crew had abandoned their ship and fled in escape pods. They left behind a perfectly functional warship and all its weapons. When the rescue ships found them drifting in space, the Vorthan warriors could only repeat the same words over and over. The humans are inside our heads. News of the Golden Wing incident spread quickly through the alien fleets. Soon, every patrol ship carried extra crew members to watch for signs of human psychological attacks. Alien commanders started requiring their crews to take medication to block fear responses, but the humans had only begun to explore the possibilities. Dr. Sarah Kim, the former research scientist, had developed new weapons that attacked alien technology at the quantum level. Her devices could make Keth crystals crack from the inside. They could cause Zephyrian plasma systems to overload. They could turn Vorthan neural networks against themselves. The aliens are learning to fear us, Rebecca told her staff during a strategy meeting. But fear is not enough. We need to make them understand that continuing this war will destroy them completely. On the bridge of the Eternal Glory, Admiral Vyses reviewed reports that filled him with dread. Entire alien patrol fleets were refusing to enter certain sectors of space. Supply convoys required massive escorts just to deliver basic supplies. 3 colony worlds had requested evacuation because their populations were too afraid to sleep at night. Admiral, his intelligence officer reported, we have lost contact with 47 ships in the past month. Not destroyed, sir. Just gone. No wreckage, no distress calls, no trace. Isis felt his four hands shake as he read the reports. The humans were not just fighting back. They were winning. A species that was supposed to be extinct was systematically destroying the galaxy's most powerful military forces. "Sir," his communications officer added, "the Keth Collective is requesting an emergency council meeting. The Vorthan Queen Mother is doing the same. They want to discuss ending the containment protocol." Isis stared at the tactical display. Red zones marked areas where alien ships would not travel. Those zones were growing larger every day. Soon, the humans would control half the galaxy simply because everyone else was too afraid to go there. "Send a message to all fleet commanders," Isis said quietly. "Tell them to be very, very careful. The humans are not the same species we went to war with 6 months ago." He was right. The humans had changed. They had been forced to become. Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the massive human warship Retribution. 2 years had passed since the Galactic Council declared war on humanity. 2 years of running, hiding, and fighting. Now everything was about to change. The Retribution was a monster of a ship. It had been built in secret using captured alien technology and human engineering. The hull was made from Keth crystal composites. The weapons were powered by Zephyrian plasma cores. The computer systems used modified Vorthan neural networks. It was everything the aliens feared about human adaptability made real. "Ambassador," said Captain Chun, the ship's commander, "all fleet elements are in position. We have 300 ships ready for the final assault." Elena looked at the tactical display. The human fleet was spread across space around Concordia Prime. Each ship was different. Some were captured alien vessels. Others were improvised fighters built from mining equipment and cargo haulers. A few were sleek warships designed by human engineers who had learned alien secrets. "How many people did we lose getting here?" Elena asked quietly. Captain Chun checked his reports. 7 million humans are confirmed dead. 3 million more are missing. Out of the 50 million humans who lived in the galaxy, only 5 million are left. Elena felt the weight of those numbers. The aliens had nearly succeeded in wiping out humanity, but the survivors had become something the galaxy had never seen before. "Open a channel to all ships," Elena said. "It is time." On Concordia Prime, Chancellor Vex sat in the same council chamber where the war had begun. But now the chamber was nearly empty. Only a few dozen alien representatives remained. The rest had fled to their home worlds or gone into hiding. "Chancellor," said his aide, a nervous young Zephyrian, "long-range sensors are detecting a large fleet approaching the station?" Vex felt his blue skin turn pale. "How large?" 300 ships, sir. They are flying human identification codes." Vex stared at his aide in disbelief. "That is impossible. Intelligence reports say there are fewer than 50 human ships left in the galaxy." The aide checked his instruments again. "Sir, the readings are confirmed. And Chancellor, they are broadcasting a message." The main display activated. Elena Vasquez appeared on the screen. She looked older than when Vex had last seen her. Her hair was gray now, and her eyes were hard as steel. "Chancellor Vex," Elena said in a calm voice, "this is Ambassador Elena Vasquez of the Human Liberation Force. I have come to deliver humanity's final terms." Vex found his voice. "Terms? You are in no position to make demands. Your species is nearly extinct." Elena smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "Nearly extinct, but not dead. And that was your mistake. You should have finished the job when you had the chance." The display changed to show the human fleet surrounding the station. Vex gasped when he saw the size of the ships. The Retribution alone was larger than most alien battleships. "These are our terms," Elena continued. "Complete withdrawal of all alien forces from human space. Payment of reparations for the genocide you attempted. And the exile of every council member who voted for the containment protocol." Chancellor Vex stood up, his forearms shaking with anger. "Those terms are absurd. We will never agree to them." "Then you will face the consequences," Elena said. You wanted to see what humans were capable of when pushed to their limits. Today you find out. The transmission ended. Alarms began sounding throughout Concordia Prime. As the human fleet moved into attack formation. In the Keth section of the station, Crystalline Advisor Flux pulsed with panicked white light. Around him, other Keth representatives huddled together. In fear, we must evacuate, Flux said. The humans have become monsters. They no longer follow the laws of civilized warfare. Elder Crystal Zen pulsed with sad blue light. We created these monsters. We turned our protectors into our destroyers. This is the price of our fear. Flux's light turned angry red. They were always monsters. We just failed to see it. No, Zen replied. They became monsters because we forced them to. There is a difference. In the Vorthan section, Queen Mother Zara clicked her mandibles with nervous energy. Her golden wings trembled as she watched the tactical displays. My queen, said one of her worker drones. The human ships are using technology we have never seen before. They appear to have combined systems from all three of our civilizations. Queen Mother Zara felt fear unlike anything she had experienced in her 1,000-year life. They learned our secrets. They took our greatest achievements and made them into weapons. Should we surrender? The worker asked. Zara was quiet for a long moment. It may be too late for surrender. We may have gone too far. On the bridge of the Retribution, Elena watched as the alien defenses activated. Energy shields surrounded. Concordia Prime, weapon platforms emerged from hidden compartments. Fighter squadrons launched from the station's docking bays. They're going to fight, Captain Chun reported. Elena nodded. She had expected this. The aliens were too proud to surrender without a battle. Begin the assault. But remember, we are not here to destroy everyone. We want the leaders who started this war. The human fleet attacked with precision that stunned the alien defenders. Ships that should not have been able to work together moved in perfect coordination. Weapons that had never been designed to function as a unit fired in devastating synchronized volleys. The hybrid human technology proved unstoppable. Keth crystal shields cracked under bombardment from modified Zephyrian plasma cannons. Vorthan fighter squadrons found their neural networks jammed by human electronic warfare systems. Zephyrian battle platforms exploded when human engineers turned their own power cores against them. Within 2 hours, Concordia Prime's defenses were shattered. Human boarding parties landed on the station and began advancing toward the council chambers. Chancellor Vex sat in his command chair as reports of defeat poured in. His security forces were surrendering without a fight. Many of them were too terrified to resist the humans they had once called allies. Sir, his aide reported, human soldiers have reached level 7. They will be here in minutes. Vex looked around the chamber at the remaining alien representatives. Fear filled every face. How did this happen? We had the strongest military forces in the galaxy. Elder Crystal Zen pulsed with quiet blue light. We taught them everything they know. We showed them our technology, we trained with them in our wars, and then we tried to destroy them. Queen Mother Zara clicked sadly. We created the perfect enemy. They know all our weaknesses because we showed them to our allies. The chamber doors opened. Human soldiers in black armor marched inside. They carried weapons that looked like alien technology twisted into new and terrible forms. Behind them walked Elena Vasquez. She looked around the chamber at the aliens who had once been her colleagues. Gentlemen, ladies, it is time to discuss the future. Chancellor Vex stood up slowly. What future? You have destroyed our fleets. You have terrorized our people. What more do you want? Elena walked to the center of the chamber. Justice. You tried to commit genocide against my species. Millions of humans are dead because of your fear and paranoia. We were protecting the galaxy, Queen Mother Zara said weakly. No, Elena replied. You were protecting your own power. You were afraid that humans would become stronger than you. So you tried to destroy us before we could challenge your authority. Elder Crystal Zen pulsed with agreement. She is correct. We acted from fear, not wisdom. Elena looked at each alien leader in turn. You wanted to see what humans were capable of when we had nothing left to lose. You forced us to become the monsters you believed we were. Are you satisfied with the result? The chamber was silent except for the sound of alien breathing and the hum of crystal bottles. These are the terms, Elena said. Chancellor Vex, Queen Mother Zara, and 12 other council members will be exiled to the prison world of Tartarus. All alien military forces will withdraw from human space immediately. Your governments will pay reparations to human survivors. For the next 50 years, Chancellor Vex's forearms clenched into fists, and if we refuse, Elena gestured to the human soldiers around the chamber, then this fleet will visit every alien world in the galaxy, and we will show them the same mercy you showed our colonies. The threat hung in the air like poison. Everyone in the chamber knew it was not a bluff. The humans had already proven they could strike anywhere, anytime. You have 1 hour to decide. Elena said, after that we begin visiting your home worlds. Queen Mother Zara was the first to speak. I agree to the terms. Elder Crystal Zen pulsed with sad acceptance. The Keth Collective agrees. Chancellor Vex looked around the chamber. He was alone. His own people were nodding in agreement with the human demands. The Zephyrian Empire agrees, he said quietly. Elena nodded. Good. The transport ships will arrive shortly to take the exiled leaders to Tartarus. The rest of you have 48 hours to begin the withdrawal from human space. As the human soldiers escorted the defeated alien leaders away, Elena stood alone in the chamber where the war had begun. She looked out through the great windows at the stars beyond. Captain Chun joined her. It is over, Ambassador. Elena shook her head. No, Captain, it is just beginning. We are no longer the junior members of galactic civilization. We are no longer the grateful allies begging for acceptance.